Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Tokyo 24 Coup. Episode 6, I believe. Let me double check, just in case I'm mistaken. It is indeed episode 6, halfway through the season already. How the time flies, doesn't it? In the last episode, I got terribly frustrated at the absolute lack of communication between our main trio, and I think now I understand my frustration a little bit better. It would be one thing if the main theme of this show was that our trio just cannot communicate. They don't talk to each other. And if that was the case all throughout. But in episode 1, when they're saving. What's her face? Mari? Mari. When they're saving Mari from the train, they act like, a perfect team. They have perfect communication. Everybody talks about what they're planning to do, what they need help with, what are the next steps that they need to take. Right? Everything is like a perfectly well-oiled machine. Right? In episode 3, in episode 3, with the hurricane, they have taken up the mantle of heroes, quote unquote, and they work through the crisis, but there are some mistakes they make, right? They communicate a little bit, but don't communicate fully, and aren't precise in their communication. But everybody thinks, at least, that they're working together towards the common goal, towards the same thing. They feel like a freshly formed group of main characters, freshly formed group of heroes, so to speak. So it's a step down from episode 1 when they were perfectly cooperating. And then in episode 5, they act like complete strangers. There is zero communication between them, there's zero trust, complete lack of any semblance of them being a team. So it's this degradation that I feel is jarring. Near the beginning of this series, it was said that they haven't talked to each other for like 3 years or something, and it would be a good chance, a good occasion, a good good pretext to have them slowly grow as a team. Instead, they are slowly devolving as a team. If you had episode 5, then episode 3, and then episode 1, it would show an actual progression from near strangers who used to be friends, but now they aren't really talking to each other, and they slowly have to build up their mutual trust and understanding and cooperation to stand against Carniaris and all those events that are happening, and they alone have the power to prevent. We are getting a weird story of their cooperation completely devolving, going completely backwards. Now, someone said, I believe on Twitter, I read a theory that perhaps what this show is aiming for is some time travel shenanigans when they later learn of their mistakes and they go back in time and save all the people through perfect cooperation. I would like for it to be the case because I feel like that would be it would be a little bit of a cop out, I'm not gonna lie, but it would at least make sense in retrospect why they made them these main characters so jarringly uncooperative, right? It would make sense as a setup. If they suddenly now start growing together as a team, that would be very weird because they'd be doing like a weird, U-shape graph of trust and cooperation, and that doesn't really work. When we started from the top and we're going to the bottom, we either end at the bottom or we start from the bottom and we're going to the top and we end at the top, going to the bottom and then back to the top. Doesn't really work for me. No siree, no. So I wonder what are they gonna do, honestly, because it seems like from now on the only, at least in short term, it will go downwards. In long term, perhaps they will bounce back, or there will be some time travel shenanigans. And I'm saying that it will probably go downwards because Ran's friend Kunai was killed at the orders of Kouki. That is bound to introduce some tension in our team. And if it doesn't, it will be like hella weird. Uh, it has to. It just has to introduce some tension. Hopefully. Hopefully, Shuuta will be able to somehow reconcile them. Maybe. Again, that would be very hard. But they will have to start working together sooner or later. I hope they will. I just hope that they won't completely gloss over Kunai's death. Because that would be really fucking weird if they did, because it's a very significant moment in the story, and it had a lot of impact on Ran, who was childhood friends with Kunai. So the relationship of Ran and Kouki staying the same, or maybe getting a little bit more cold, would be really out of character for everybody, basically. So I'm curious how they're gonna solve that. Another thing is now the weird machine is starting up by the order of Gori, the governor, and Sakiko is apparently also working on it. So that's a little bit, what's going on with that machine? What even is that? Uh, it's probably some sort of a quantum computer thing where the mind of Asumi was uploaded to, but we don't know. Honestly, nothing is certain in this show at this point. So I think we're just gonna have to watch it and see what's gonna happen next, right? Okay, I have everything loaded. I have my cables all sorted. My tea isn't drinkable yet. It is fairly hot, but drinkable. It's some hibiscus. I found dried hibiscus stashed somewhere in my cupboard. I was making fermented hot sauce like 3 years ago, and I used hibiscus for flavoring, and it's still there and it's still good. So hey, newly discovered hibiscus tea. And also, I still have a bottle of that sauce in my fridge. It's fermented, it should be still fine, right? It didn't explode or anything. Okay, let's not talk about hot sauce, let's not talk about tea, let's talk about Tokyo 24-ku episode 6, version by Sabs, please. That's gonna be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, no OP? Kunai suspended in some starry void. Okay, we're continuing from last episode. Yep. Straight facts. Straight facts. Ran was actually the one who deceived them first. None of it would have happened if Ran just talked. None of it. None of it would have happened. Ran has the motivation all figured out, but he won't speak because he won't. Interrogation? Who are you interrogating? It's more than a possibility. Like, Ran actually created the drug, but he just won't talk. Yes, please explain! Explain everything to SARG! Or else everybody here is gonna fucking die as a terrorist! Because Ran didn't communicate! Yeah, who the fuck knows? Why didn't Ran talk to his friends? Who the fuck knows? Asumi? Oh, the grandma. Well, was. uh, you did, absolutely. I'm assuming Asumi is a hazard cast computer. He knows something. Of course he does. That's a non sequitur. I mean, he literally does step into the future in his visions. Like, literally. Yeah, gunfight. Hmm? Oh, kunai? Yeah, I'm curious. Now you chose to talk about it. Now, after you're already dead. Now you're talking about it. Now you think it's the good time to do that. It's a bit late to uncover that mystery to everybody, don't you think? Don't you think it's a bit late? You did everything wrong, motherfucker. Okay, so that's gonna create tensions in the city. Ready for what? Ready for not fucking talking? Bread crust? Oh, right, Ran likes bread crust. I mean, SARG is the villain. SARG very much is the villain. That future is Asumi's brain in a jar. Calling it now. Okay, Kouki, what you gonna do with this new acquired knowledge? Is her brain a part of this machine as well? Special brain. Guess whose? Guess whose brain is that? Hello, Asumi. Yep. The brain of your friend. Very much so. Yes. The whole city did. Yes. Maybe not Carniades, but I mean, he is a member of SARG and the son of the governor. Hmm. Maybe after what he learns, he won't? Okay. Ko has a history of selling them out? Or. Yep, absolutely does. Really? That's a bit excessive. What did you learn, Kouki? Already did, my dude. Oof. Completely selling every. Son of a baker. Uh, yes. Yes. You should work together. I mean, Ran doesn't really seem to care about Kunai dying, so. Fucking Truny. A bunch of orphans, including a toddler. Except her. Uh, Kouki's mother seems to be too perfect for this world. I'm assuming she created the entire system having entirely good intentions to actually keep people safe, but her husband later decided that a better use for this system would be a full control of the population. Yep. I'm pretty sure Hazard Cast did fuck all, actually. Whenever a rollout of something controversial happens in multiple steps, it goes through of the steps. It never stops at step 3. It never stops at step 2. It's just lip service whenever someone says that something's gonna roll out in steps. It is gonna roll out in steps, but from step first to the last, don't be mistaken. If it gets encrypted, it can be decrypted. Yep. Oh. Oh, fuck. That reflects our current world so well. Oh, that's so topical. Give up a little bit of your privacy for a little bit more protection. Oh, give up a little more, just a little more. Think of the children. Think of the children. Think of the safety. Forbidden technology, aka Asumi's body. And maybe the mother as well. A little bit of a computational oyakodon. Oh no, it's just Asumi. It is just Asumi. She's missing a leg. Yep. If you still had any doubts about the whole shebang being unethical, now you don't have. Yeah, that's why she's reaching out to her friends. Oh, you motherfucker. Really? You see this, and you sell out your friend. You see your friend in a jar, powering a completely immoral system, and you don't oppose it, you support it, and what's more, you go against your friends. And who the fuck are you? Carniadis? Think it might be Carniadis. And what's with Sakiko? Is Sakiko is Sakiko gonna be like the only good and moral person here? Is Sakiko sending the messages to RGB? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I knew that I liked her the moment I saw her. Let's go through this episode again. And there we go. Here in this moment, I thought that he isn't dead. He also has been uploaded to the cloud the same way Asumi was. But no, apparently it's just an artist's rendition, so to speak. Yeah, best friend. They're around to protect Dot Red. They're cracking up on the crime. Kunai was simply being used. And Ran, of course, won't talk. Still. Single-handedly, he could clear up the name of his best friend, and he could make Dored into essentially heroes by exposing the evidence. But he won't. Because fuck if I know. But he won't. Yeah, Kunai was set up, revenge out of desperation. But of course, Ran won't say anything. Because why would he? That vision had no future where we could have saved Kunai. It did have I'm getting so frustrated. I'm getting so frustrated by how dumb, how absolutely stupid characters in this show can be. The only actual human being in this show, out of our main trio, is Shuuta. I fucking swear, the only actual human being is Shuuta. Ran doesn't release the information that he could, and Kouki believes that there is no other vision, there's no other option. Motherfucker, in the episode 1, you saw 2 options, you went with a third, and it worked out. In episode 5, Shuuta told you both that only if you only communicated, you could have found out a third option. I'm fairly sure in episode 3, Shuuta told it in in plain words that you could have found out the third option. In episode 5, I'm pretty fucking sure that Shuuta also mentioned that they might be able to figure out a third option. And this dense motherfucker is standing there, staring into his own reflection, and talking about there are only 2 ways, and he picked the better one. I agree that he picked the better one out of the 2 available, but why the fuck did they not try to create a third one? You know why? Because Ren didn't talk to anybody. That's why. If they had Ran's information about kunai and about the deal to distribute the drug and about everything, if they had this information, they could have gone with a third way. They could have tried even if they didn't have that information. Hell, Shuuta tried to grab the bomb and capture it so it's not on the ship. Right? Right? But this dense motherfucker sees 2 options and thinks he has to pick one, even though it's been proven in episode 1 that a third option is possible. And look at how glad he is that he killed his friend's friend. We need more focus on Shuuta. We need more focus on Shuuta because Kouki and Ran are pissing me off. Shuuta is the best protagonist in this series, I swear on me mom. And here, see, Kunai reveals the truth. Kunai reveals the truth. The biometrics, performance beyond personal use. It was these biometric things and the C phones were used to brainwash people. They were used as a drug. He's open with it. And later people are like, oh, how cool, an update. I could understand it if there was like a month's time between those 2 events, right? Let people forget and then release the update, but it happened like on the same fucking day. And everybody's so eager to update their phones. What the fuck? Is Shuuta really the only sane person in this series? And people agree it's true that the world's policies are a bit too aggressive. He used the incident against us, now SARG is the villain. I'm pretty fucking sure it is! Especially after what you've shown us. Cornucopia. I'm pretty sure it also has some negative connotations. Cornucopia. Oh no, it's just a goat's horn. Horn of Plenty, an inexhaustible source. Okay, never mind. I thought it's something like, I don't know, Tower of Babel or Pandora's Box or something. But no, apparently not. It's not the Torment Nexus from the hit novel Don't Build the Torment Nexus. At least that. Next generation macroscopic complex computer. That's a lot of words for brain. See, Kanade was good. Kanade was a good person. She made this system with, the best in mind. We can save people from natural disasters if we're able to predict them. We can save people from crime if we're able to predict them. And then, after she was done with her life's work, she went on to teach students at an elementary school. And of course, she had to die. And of course, after her death, her invention was turned 180 degrees. She probably had in mind the use for the system that she had in mind most probably was, hey, we can predict that that person might commit a crime. Maybe we should go there and try to help them. If they're gonna steal, maybe we should give them some money. If they're contemplating, I don't know, murder, we should maybe send them a psychologist. If they're thinking of tax evasion, maybe we should talk to them and maybe we should reconsider our taxes. You know? That kind of deal. I'm willing to bet that that was her thinking. But then, her husband came in and was like, oh, a system that can predict crimes. Well, that makes the work of the police much easier. Inventions made for good reasons, with good conscience, almost always end up corrupted. Such is the truth of the world. Adding information from C-phones, sensors, security chip. Maybe it's Carniadis? I don't think it's Carniadis. I think it's actually Asumi. Some semblance of her conscience still hanging. She's not just a brain, there's actual Asumi still left. And she's talking about the possibilities we have because that's all she's able to talk about, right? She only processes the data and comes up with potential outcomes. She doesn't propose solutions. She doesn't use, abstract critical thinking to come up with other possibilities. That's on you. And they've proven that they can do that. But for some reason, they won't. Yes, Kouki will absolutely sell them out. Asumi is no longer with us, even after what you've seen. And this moment, Kouki seems to have looked up to his mother so much, and he even experienced it firsthand, that there might be good reasons beyond, not necessarily good actions, right? Sure, Ran wanted to steal some apples, but it was to feed some starving orphans. So I would think... see, Kouki frustrates me the most here, probably. See how he is here? He's questioning his choice as a child. He's questioning his choice and looking up to his mother. He's asking his mother, the biggest role model he has in his life, did I make a mistake? Maybe I should have turned a blind eye. But if you try to do something right in hopes of saving someone, you'll clash with some rules. Yep. Sometimes people step outside of the rules during times like that. What's important is for everyone to keep thinking about what is right together. Exactly. And you'd think that he remembers that. But apparently no. Apparently that's the thing of the past now. With assisted the SARG was Hazardcast. It wasn't. Hazardcast did fuck all. Unless Gori knows that Asumi is contacting the trio. But how would he? He seems to have completely ignored Kouki when he talked about that. Even though he knows that Asumi is actually in the tank and is calling them and contacting them. But he completely dismissed it. His first thought wasn't, hey, something's not right. We thought that she's just gonna be like processing power. But now it seems like she's acting of her own volition. Maybe there's a bug in the code. Maybe there's an error in the machine. Maybe she's not quite dead. Something, you know? Some thoughts. You think that some thoughts would appear in his mind. But absolutely none did. It's like nothing ever happened. It's like Kouki never talked about anything. Hazardcast, yeah, it's gonna use your yada yada sensors. Is this... Okay, what's written at the bottom? To assist Hazardcast, the safety predictor of the 24th word, will you contribute information of the Kanai system? Agree? Later. Agree or later. No disagree button. It's so topical. It's so current. There was the whole shebang with WhatsApp, right? When WhatsApp wanted to update their policy that they want even more of your data. Who you're calling, when you're calling them, who you're messaging, when you're messaging them, and all that jazz. And they made similar notification. Do you agree to our updated terms and conditions? Agree or later? And after a while, they wanted to completely disallow you to use the app until you agreed. I'm not sure how it ended because I stopped following the whole thing. I'm not using WhatsApp, but that was the case. Similarly, every single app has rate now, later. Every single website that uses those annoying things has yes, I want to receive your notifications, no, maybe later. Yes, I want to subscribe to your newsletter, maybe later. There's no option to deny. Same here. Yeah, all information will be encrypted. How much of this can we believe? Exactly. Using a Caesar cipher on your data is technically encryption. It doesn't do shit for protecting your data, but it's technically encryption. Not to mention, all the data, anything that is encrypted, can be decrypted as long as you have an encryption key. That's an important thing to note. People often, especially like newcomers to like programming, they can't tell the difference between encryption and hashing. And they suddenly want to encrypt passwords and they want to encrypt IPs. Encryption is reversible, hashing is not. That's the main difference. If something is encrypted, it can always, always, always be decrypted. It's fully 100% reversible. As long as you have the encryption key, it can be decrypted. And I'm assuming the encryption key is in the hands of SARG. It's not, or it's like a unique identificator of the device or something like that. I'm assuming the encryption key isn't something that the user sets and something that remains only to the knowledge of the user, which means that SARG can always decrypt that data. And truthfully, if they want to actually use it for HazardCast, for the Kanae system, they would have to decrypt it. There's no way around it. You can't use user age in your predictions if the age is encrypted and it's just a bunch of random numbers and letters. You need to actually decrypt it. Hashes would be better. Sure. If you age someone's age, that hash will be the exact same for the same age. You don't know what age is that, but you know that it is the same age. Same for IPs, for example. If you hash an IP and someone connects to your server and you don't know if they're IP banned or not, you can check the hash of the connecting person with the hash of the banned IP. And if the hashes match, that means the IP is banned. You don't need to decrypt anything. So hashing can actually be used for things like, statistics and predictions and things like that. You don't need encryption unless you actually want access to full data, which I'm assuming SARG does want, because they want to know who to arrest in advance before they even commit a crime. Sorry, that turned into a little bit of a rant on cybersecurity, but and of course, everybody updates their phones. Oh, it's for our security, right? Giving up a bit of privacy is a small price to buy safety. Guess what? The US wants to pass the Earn It Act again. It was rejected once, they want to pass it again, and it's even more aggressive. It puts the onus of scanning data for illegal content on the websites that store content. For example, if I wanted to have a website and I wanted my users to upload their own avatars there, I would have to scan every single one of those avatars looking for illegal content. And I would be, I'd be culpable for any illegal content that goes through. It's like they're trying to pass it right now. Was their excuse? Of course, it's to protect the children. Always. It's always when the government wants you to give up your privacy, it's always either think of the children or think of the terrorists. One of the two. It's either we want to protect the children from exploitation, that's why give us your data, and get rid of encryption and get rid of safe messaging, or we want to detect terrorist attacks more efficiently, that's why get rid of your privacy and decrypt all your Signal and WhatsApp and whatnot messages. We want to take a look at all of them, and we want to know who sends what when. It's always one of the two. Here we have terrorism. They'll be able to protect everyone's safety. You know what the fuck they want. Maybe initially. Absolutely, maybe initially. But not for long. There was a terrorist statement the other day that sensors built into siphons were dangerous. That was nothing more than groundless fake news. Of course it was. It will now be possible to preemptively stop a crime from happening. Basically a thought crime. We need a perfect world and someone must be the sacrifice to pay the price. That sacrifice shall be my own daughter. This is simply a brain as a mechanical part and a physical body to balance it out. We need to prepare ourselves with a broad mind to tolerate good and evil. It is time to make your decision, Kouki. And here I cannot understand Kouki. I cannot. He has all the memories of his childhood. He has all the lessons that his mother taught him about how sometimes doing something illegal is a necessity to stop something bad from happening. Right? And he experienced firsthand as a child that it's true. And he himself had doubts about what he did. And now he sees that his own sister is stored in a tank and used as a machine to predict future crimes that haven't happened. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. My friend Ran is actually the head of Dured. Fuck him up! Killed his friend, might as well kill him too, right? I don't understand Kouki in the slightest. And suddenly he's like, the perfect world is within reach! I don't understand him. None. I have zero understanding for Kouki. Hopefully she does the good, and she, I don't know, uses the system to send Asumi alerts to everybody. Please forgive my sinful self. I'm hoping that's what she's doing. And this is, I think, Carniades. I mean, who else would be leaving those things? Or is it Zeroth, the graffiti dude that we've seen in like flashbacks? See, I'm able to understand Ran's actions. I believe they are dumb actions, but I can understand them. He is essentially always on the run from the police, right? Because they're doing all the graffiti and public disturbance and whatnot. And they have to hide from SARG. And that's why he doesn't want to expose his friend Kunai to Kouki, who is essentially a cop. Sure, I can understand it to a degree. Kouki, I cannot. For the love of me, I cannot understand Kouki. If I seen that the documents and the data that he's seen, and if I seen the speech by Kunai, and if I've seen my sister's dead body in a tank, you know what I would have thought? Are we the baddies? Are like, little pins? Do our pins have skulls on them? Is there a skull logo in our organization? That's what I would be thinking. I would be thinking, hey, sweet, that's a way towards a better world. Using dead body of my sister will surely make the world a better place. Being able to predict crimes in advance will certainly not lead to anything bad. This system will certainly be used only for detecting crimes and other issues. There is absolutely no possibility of exploiting it in any way, shape, or form. This system is perfect as it is. I cannot understand Kouki. For the life of me. I simply cannot. I'm thinking what's gonna happen next. And I'm completely blanking. I'm completely blanking on what can happen next. We seem to be seeing our main trio grow more and more and more and more and more and more and more apart. We're on a downward slope from episode 1, which is super weird because episode 1, 3, and 5 shouldn't be on a downward slope. But they were. And we still are on a downward slope. Now Ran is a fugitive. Now Kouki went completely mad and wants to build a perfect world where everybody is surveilled 24/7. I can see it working out. I don't know how they are planning to solve it. I've no clue. Because I don't see an out. The only theory that kinda still works is actual time travel. For not even Kouki, Ran, and Shuuta, our main trio, to go back in time, but Shuuta alone. Kouki and Ran are a lost cause. Well, maybe not Ran. Ran still very much wants to do good. He's very secretive about it. He's very careful about it. He's very skittish about it. But he wants to do good. He wants to stand up against the SARG. Shuuta also wants to do good. If doing good means going against the SARG, he will gladly. Kouki is a lost cause, at least for now. Maybe he will suddenly have a moment of awakening when he's gonna realize that what he's doing is bad and wrong and morally objective. But if seeing his own sister suspended in a tank wasn't that moment, I don't know what would be. I honestly don't know what would be. Seeing his sister suspended in a tank not only doesn't make him question things, it makes him actively make the choice and take the side of the people who suspended his sister in a tank. He also makes the conscious choice to rat out Ran, his friend, who he knows he wronged by killing his friend. He's willing to rat him out just like that. Kouki, to me, is a completely lost cause. Ran and Shuuta, they can still work. Shuta's group, I'd be down. Sakiko, I still think that she might be the detractor here. She might be the one who is sending the messages to our main trio. That's my suspicion. Because we often see her alone in that room doing some weird stuff in the dark. So I'm assuming she does something that the governor doesn't know of. She's doing something behind his back. And if she's doing something behind his back, that means what she does is good. Essentially. That's like the moral compass of this show. You stand with the governor or you stand against the governor. If you stand with him, you're evil. If you stand against him, you're good. That's basically what it boils down to. I don't know how they are planning to redeem Kouki. I kinda hope they aren't planning to redeem him, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm hoping, and that's completely out of my ass, but I'm hoping that we're gonna see a moment where Shuuta and Ran and maybe some of their friends, maybe Lucky, maybe Mari, maybe Sakiko, maybe the old dude, Yamamori, stand against Kouki. And Kouki stands in their way. And they have to make the exact same choice that Kouki did. Except through their own hands, not through someone else's. I'm hoping that of our main trio, only the duo will remain by the end. Honestly, I dislike Kouki to that degree. I think that they might have wanted to make him like a multi-dimensional character and very complex and whatnot, but an anime doesn't lend itself well to it. You can't show internal monologue, you can't show thoughts, you can't show all those things in an anime. You can do that efficiently. If it was based on a manga, if it was based on a light novel, I would have still had hope that perhaps in the source material it was more fleshed out, and Kouki is actually a tragic character. But there's no source material. This is anime original. So this is all we have. This is all we have to work with. Kouki right now is irredeemable. Shuuta right now is, in my heart, the only protagonist, the worth actually following in this series. Maybe Ran, but mostly Shuuta. Kouki, skip the parts that have him on screen, honestly. I couldn't care less about him. Yeah. Last episode made me frustrated. Today's episode just made me angry at the characters here. Mainly at Kouki. Fuck you, Kouki. Fuck you. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it here. I've already spent over an hour talking about it, and the better part of that over an hour was me ranting about this show. So, let's end it here. And you leave me a comment down below what you thought of this episode. What do you think of Kouki? What do you think of Ran? What do you think of what transpired in this episode and in previous one? What are your hopes? What do you think is gonna happen? Are they gonna try to redeem Kouki or are they not? I'm curious about your thoughts. I'm curious about your opinions, honestly. Because I don't know what to think. And yeah, what did you think of my reaction? Do you appreciate my rant, or should I rant more, or should I rant less? Tell me about it. If you like this video, leave me a like. If you didn't like it, leave me a dislike. But also leave me a comment telling me why you disliked it. I can't fix my mistakes if I don't know what they are. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified of future releases. It's not only Tokyo 24 Ku, but tomorrow it's gonna be Dolls Frontline. Then it's gonna be on Saturday it's Symphogear. On Sunday it's Arifureta, and on Monday it's Sabiku Ibisco. Yeah, that's my lineup. So if you're interested in any of those shows, give them a watch. I also have other shows on my channel. Princess Principle, Saihaten no Paladin, Tact of Destiny, and Tsukito Lagato no Sferatu. If you're interested in those, you can find them on my channel as well. If you really like what I'm doing, you can support me on Patreon, link in the description. For just $1 a month, you get special role on my open Discord server that you can join clicking the link down in the description, and that role also gives you access to a Patreon-only channel. And for $10 a month, you get early access to my non-seasonal shows, which this season it's Symphogear. If you want to watch Symphogear 1 week early, that's what you should do. Share this video with other people. Maybe someone who shares my frustrations. Maybe someone who thinks this show is extremely good and the characters are so in-depth and so amazing. You know, confront their view with my view. Because they would seem to be opposing ones. And that's always interesting. Did I forget to show anything else? Join my Discord, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. So, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Cheers! And this is another reward you get for supporting me on Patreon. You get to be on this very list.